Yeah, so no single source can really give you the full picture, right? Because a good property decision really depends on several things all coming together at the same time.
Yes, Ewan. That's why we need to consider about property economics. Property economics normally ask which markets are on which clock. So that's really important question at the moment. So are you looking at an interest rate elastic market, or you are looking at a supply constrained rental market and a corridor where population and infrastructure create a lot of different profile, a demographic profile, etc. So those are the key things we need to concentrate on at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I guess when it comes to mortgage lending, it asks a different question, which is not simply, well, what does the credit cost? How much is the interest rate going to be? What are my loan repayments going to be? But is credit actually available to you? And then how durable is that availability? And then I guess, what counterparty exposure sits behind that particular structure that you have supporting your portfolio?
Yes, even the structure is really important. The buyer advocacy and the property selection then test the assets itself. And is the income supported by observed demand? And is the infrastructure funded rather than merely announced? And is supply constrained in a way that can be evidenced? So those are the things or questions we should ask when we evaluate.
And I guess ultimately it's the portfolio that brings all three together, right? Because each of them are all very different elements of building a portfolio, but bringing that together, because a good asset in isolation can still be the wrong sort of next asset if it reduces flexibility or it duplicates an existing exposure or even consumes capacity that you might need somewhere else inside your portfolio. And, I guess, we reduce that into three practical moves, right? First, it's all about engineering capacity when you're looking at your current scenario. What you can actually borrow, how much you can actually service, not what you hope a future rate cut is ultimately going to unlock for you inside your portfolio, but really about what can you actually do now, and is the move that you do now enabling you to continue growing your portfolio?
Second one is the stress test. We should roughly test around 8% because it's not a prediction of the rate you will pay. It is just an illustrative resilient test that designed to ask yourself whether you are positioned correctly to that kind of environment.
That makes a lot of sense, and then I guess ultimately, it's really about really refining on, I guess, the income that you can actually prove, right? How much rental yield am I getting out of the portfolio? What levels of, say, negative gearing benefits are still applied to my portfolio that I can be using? Then ultimately having a look at, funded infrastructure, observable rental demand that's going on in the area, supply constraint if you're buying into a new area, and certainly counterparty equality within your portfolio. It's really about this evidence before the narrative that goes with the client. So, ultimately, a broker sees a loan, right? They're really good at getting a loan approved. They fast get it approved, which is fantastic. An accountant sees the structure, tax-wise, and what it's going to do for you. A buyer's agent is going to see you a property that maybe might perform, but in a lot of cases, a lot of that is in the rear vision mirror. But, ultimately, good investment decision really needs all of those pieces working together, and that's where investors need to see the bigger picture.